For the future patches of Space Marine 2, so what I'm really thinking needs to change is, okay, first off, when there's a big patch that's coming out with a weapon, you have to drop 2 weapons. Just because the player base needs a reason to come back. When there's a big patch like that, you want all of your casuals coming back, you want all of your hardcore players, you want everybody coming back to really take advantage of, all the exciting things that you bring with the patch. So if you bring out 2 weapons, then you can split it up to where every class is getting a weapon. Because if every class is not getting a weapon, you're not bringing back a huge number of your casual player base, because they are probably only level 25 with 1 and maybe possible 2 characters. So if those 2 characters couldn't even use the Volkite, a lot of people aren't going to want to dive back in the game for a casual player that's playing on the weekends. They're not diving back in and trying to level up a whole new character to 25. So you really have to make it exciting for every single class when you drop these big updates like that. And then also when it comes to the regular patches from patch to patch, you really have to switch up the meta of the game, and you make it exciting. That's really important, because that's kind of what's going to bring even like a lot more traffic to the game, and that's the most important thing we need, is just a big strong player base to keep the game relevant for a long time. And doing that and making the patches exciting and changing up the whole dynamic of the game, I know you're going to get some people angry, but what you're going to do is you're going to bring like bigger YouTubers, obviously on my channel is small, but I'm saying big YouTubers and people with a big following, they're going to cover the game, you know what I'm saying, for longer periods of time than what they had to cover it with the Volkite and things like that. So the longer time you can get bigger YouTubers to follow the game, I think the more attention it garners, the bigger the player base, the more casuals are watching about the game, making them want to play the game. So I just think overall that's a good way to work with the patches. Make sure you're really making them meaningful, and don't, like, you know what I'm saying, don't do things like what you did with the auto bolt rifle and like increase the magazine size. You know what I'm saying? Don't do things like that. You have to do things like you did with the bolt carbine and just really switch it up and make it exciting. And that's going to, I think, help the player base. And then another thing, and this is no offense to anybody that plays Darktide, I really think 100%, not 100%, okay, I know Darktide has a good player base. Sometimes I look at the Steam numbers and they're like on par with what Space Marine 2 is doing. But the thing is, Space Marine 2 has a gigantic player base. Like, what did it, I think it peaked at like 220 something thousand. It's 4+ million copies sold. Like, it's probably like 5 or 6 by now. So the player base is gigantic. So you really need very exciting things every single patch and every single big weapon update. It has to be very, very strong, and that's how you're going to get the casuals to come back in the game and stay back in the game for longer periods of time, really knowing that you're switching things up and things are just staying exciting overall. So what you don't do is you don't nerf things to make other guns stronger, but you just buff other guns to make them stronger than other weapons at certain times. That's really just what you got to do to switch up the meta of the game, keep everything exciting and fresh, and I think that'll help the longevity of the of Space Marine 2, the PvE side of it for sure. And trust me, this is no offense to any people who play Darktide or anything like that, so don't take it in that way, but I really think they have a very good opportunity with this game, and if they dedicate enough time to it, the different classes and how everything works, they could really make things, they could really switch up things a lot by changing perks. That I know they have analytics that are showing, certain perks are, horrible and they should, change the perks around, but they need development time to actually go in, make these perks work a certain way, and then dedicate testing time. It's just a lot of resources that it's going to take, and that's the only reason I said the thing I did about Darktide. And Darktide's been around for a while, so I think they could go, and they have huge updates, and I heard it's in a very good place right now. So I think dedicating, at least, a huge amount of your resources to Space Marine 2 in, going forward is just a very good idea.